Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponents go first. I have Rosier, so hopefully that won't be blocked. I don't think Rosier has an anagram, but I suspect there will be plenty of 8s with this rack, so hopefully either Rosier will go down or one of those 8s. Great, my opponent's changed, so where best to play? I think here avoids putting the vowels next to premium squares. Nearly. And if my opponent plays an 8-letter word ending in S, he'll be opening up row A. Well, quite a nice rack, slightly too many vowels. I have areolate through either of the R's, fantastic. This should be back-to-back bingos. If both of those are blocked, I'm probably looking at a low-scoring play. Areolate, I think, only takes a D after it. Now, do I have any other bingos? I don't think I have a 7-letter bingo with this rack. And the only other consonant is the S of Rosier. Well, I can't see anything through that. Great. Now, I just need to consider if I've got a 9-letter word through any of those 2-letter combinations in columns 11 to 13. Can't see anything with HE or ER or ME. Okay, well this is quite an easy decision then. Areolate. 61. My bingo run ends. I have only one vowel, but I do have a scoring tile in the X. There are no great spots for the X. I'm looking in column 8 to see if I can play parallel to areolate, placing my B or my G next to the A, the second A. So I could play bang, that would be pretty good. It would be good to play off 3 of these consonants to try and have a balanced rack next time. It's not a priority playing off the X. Okay, good score for my opponent, 50 points. And, well, he's provided an X spot next to TI. Can't see a good way of making use of that. Do I have a double-double in column 11? Don't think so. Now I'm thinking about playing bag in column 6 with the B next to the O of areolate. I think that's 30 points. Rack leave LNSX slightly consonant heavy. Be good to play off one more, but I don't think I can. Certainly not in that spot. Yeah, this is quite good. It's keeping open the ticks spot. £30 points. Wow, fabulous pickup. A, E and blank couldn't have been much better. Through a T, Well, I was going to say sextantal, but that's a 9-letter play. Larnaxes, I think, is an alternative plural of Larnax, because I think Larnakes is a plural. Now, I don't have to bingo, even if I have one. I could play lax in column 9 and making gamma and ticks for over 40 points. But first, do I have a bingo? Nice bingo by my opponent with no blank. Wapitis, great spot, 87 points. I'm looking to see if I have a triple in row A, not very likely. So, what do I have with this rack? Well, for a 7, Alexins is good. Does that play anywhere? Hems doesn't take anything after it. Okay, I can't see anywhere for Alexins. Let me run through the alphabet and see if anything leaps into my mind. And I'm looking for 7s and 8s. L and N together aren't great, but I feel that there are bingos here. Flaxen's not good. I do have a good play, a good non-bingo play in my pocket with lax in column 9. So this is the Alexins rack. Haven't seen anything yet. Siloxane through an A. Shems isn't good. Explains through an I. And I don't think A hems is good, otherwise that would play in column 10. Unsexual with something. Through a U, no U's available. Okay. So, well, laxness is also good. Can't see anywhere for that. I'm looking at the duplicate tiles on the board. There's EN in row N. Can't see anything there. TI in row M. Nope. HE in column 10. Sorry, column 11. Gosh, that looks promising. Can't see anything ER in column 12. Well, what about externals? Does that work? Wow, it might. Gosh, I think this exists and is going to be good. A double-double. Let me see what this scores. 110. Fantastic. Slight doubt about the word, but only a slight one. I have overflown through the right 2 floaters. I don't think that's going to happen 2 moves running. Again, I've only got one vowel, but I've got scoring tiles. Great external stays on, I'm pretty sure it is good. This is quite an open board now. My lead is only 62 points. Now I can play Wowf. This is going to keep the scoring going. And sort the rack out quite well. 51 points, excellent. I spent a while on the externals play, so I'm going to try and play a little more quickly. My opponent has not used much time, so I could end up in time trouble if I spend too long dwelling on my racks. Again, just the one vowel. But I could have a bingo through a vowel on the board. I've got the ing and ling ending, so drivelling would work. My opponent continues to score well. He's only a bingo behind. Column 9 is pretty useful because that S is available, so my opponent could bingo through that. I'd quite like to sort this rack out, and I can do that. I can play driving across here, which blocks that S, turns over a lot of tiles, which expedites the end of the game and increases my chances of drawing the second blank. So driving 28. Well, another one vowel rack. This would be pretty annoying if I was a bingo behind, but as long as I can keep scoring and my opponent doesn't bingo, it's going to be okay. Column 10 looks pretty useful for hooking Y and X. The Q is unplayed, but so are 3 U's, so I don't wish to hang on to this U. This might be quite a tricky rack to deal with. I haven't seen anything in column 10 which works. Well, Pearl works. Furl would be better, because the P is a more bingo-y tile than the F, and it's going to score slightly more. PNT is not a bad rack lead. 31 points is a good score. Great, some vowels. Now this looks fairly bingo-y. I don't think I have a 7. I'm looking at the D and R of driving. The R looks more promising. Can't see anything there. I'm now 120 points ahead, which is good. There are still 26 tiles in the bag. I've got the out prefix and the un prefix. So unadopt. Well, that's not good, but unadopted probably is. There's the K of mink. There's the S of rosier is just about available as a bingo floater with the right overlaps. Ulex is good. So I don't think I am going to bingo. My priorities then are to play off the U and probably to use the P for score. I haven't seen anywhere to do that yet. Now, what about column 5? Playing parallel to bag. I could have a word ending OP or beginning PO because Ogham is good. So I could play pound in column 5, which is good. It would score well and it would be turning over a lot of tiles. And that stays available. And my opponent is also burning a lot of tiles. He hasn't provided any new floaters. He has provided a good spot for my P. I'm not going to use that because that would be opening up column 1. $11 left. Well, that's fine. And this is nice. I'm opening up another hottish spot here, but that's of more value to me than my opponent because he's looking to bingo to get back into this game. The second blank is still out there. All the U's have gone now, and the Q has not been played. I don't have a bingo with this rack. I've got scoring tiles in the H and the B. And I do have a U on my rack, so I'm mindful of the fact that the Q hasn't been played. It may be worth hanging on to. Well, it's not now because the Q has been played. For only 12 points. Fantastic. So, 14 tiles left. What do I do? I'm looking in column 8 to see if I can play through the G. Bort isn't good with an A. And now I would like to play the U off. It's a drag on my rack. I could play Beath down here. Let me see what this scores. Dreadful rack leave. But it's 37 points, which is huge. Although I am providing an opening down here for a bingo. After I play Beath, I would be about 150 points ahead. And looking at the remaining tiles, they're pretty low scoring. So the worst my opponent could do would be to score maybe 100. So I'd still be 50 points ahead. And in playing Beath, I am taking out column 2 as a bingo lane. And if my opponent doesn't bingo, well, it's a hot spot which he may choose to block. This feels slightly reckless, but I'm going to do it anyway. Ooh, not great. Well, I've got guard at 01. The remaining tiles are pretty bingo-y, but there are 2 C's out there and a V. Yep, nice bingo by my opponent, 86 points. He's 60 points behind, but the remaining tiles are quite bingo-y. So, and I note that Echelon would have played in column 2 for fewer points if I hadn't played Beath. Now, my opponent could play Kenotics in row O, if that's good, and I think it is. I've got 8 minutes left. 2 tiles left, so I probably am going to empty the bag. Where are the bingo lanes? Well, there is a bingo lane in column 3. At the bottom, playing parallel to ET and CH. Probably not too dangerous. The blank has gone, which is good. What goes next to ET of the remaining tiles? Nothing. Great, because ETS isn't good. So that's not a bingo lane I need to worry about. Ogham takes nothing in front, so column 4 I don't need to worry about. The S of Rosier. Well, that would have to be a very precise overlap. Ogham only takes an S after it. So the bingo lanes are column 14, making cats. So 7-letter play with second letter S. Can't see anything there. And the Canotics play. What would Canotics score? 95 points. Wow, well that would win. That would win. It's possible that Canotics isn't good. Now, what's the most I can score with this rack, forgetting about blocking Canotics? What about row K? I can put my I underneath the Q. Well, I'm not seeing anything in that spot. I can't play in column 9 parallel to Mink. Well, I could play GI, making Eng and Key. Gosh, I wasn't expecting this endgame to be so fraught. I could play Tiger down here. This is going to block the K row. And I think either Canotics or Ketonics is good. I'm not sure which. I think it is Kenotics. This blocks that. It scores 16 points, which isn't great, but it kills off both bingo lanes, or massively restricts them. So if my opponent does find a playable bingo, well, that's, you know, exceptionally well played by him. And I'm going to draw 2 tiles from the bag, so I think this is a reasonable play. We can see what my opponent has got. He's got Covents. Which doesn't play anywhere. And I am not going to go out in 1 IORRU. Ah, well, I might. Urari is good. I can play that in row N. I suspect my opponent will be attracted to row N and may well be looking for a 5 or 6 letter play across here, placing the C or V on this triple letter square. If he doesn't, I will play there. I don't think there's anywhere else for me to go out. I'm looking to see if I can play in row K, placing the I underneath the Q. Not to go out, but just to score. Can't see a way of doing that. What about column 8 going through the G? Can't see a way of playing there. I'm looking in column 3 to see if I've got a 4 letter play, hooking CH. Can't see one. Yeah, nice play by my opponent. And he's provided a spot for me to go out with Aurea. £21 points. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. And the final score, 413 to my opponent, 488 to me. A winning margin of 75 points. Good to be back to winning ways. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first, and he changed. I had Rosier. That was the only bingo going. This was my opponent's rack. He played Hem, I had Areolate, and there were no other bingos. This is my opponent's rack, lots of eyes, 50-point score, that's good for him. And here Lax for 41, keeping BGNS. Well, I played Bag for 30 instead, keeping LNSX. Probably the Lax play was better. My opponent bingos with were PTs, and I had 110 for externals, which took me a while to spot. What I didn't see was Saxennial in row N through EN. Wow, so 2 9-letter plays available, and Explants in row E coming through the T of Wapitis. But in any event, externals, the only bingo I did spot, was the highest scoring. This was my opponent's rack. He scored well throughout, 43 points for Ditzy. Now, what was available here? I played Wow for 51, and that looks best. Nice rack for my opponent. 33 points. And I did not have a good rack. I played Driving for D2, and that looks fine. Well, that looks close to a bingo. Let's see if my opponent had one. He did not. He played Over for 19. And Furl for 31 was my play, and that looks fine. My opponent's rack, he played Juried for 32. He could have got 42 for Judge. Now, I don't think I had a bingo here. I didn't. K5, Pound. That was my play. Let's just see what my opponent had here. Well, nothing great. And this is where I made life difficult for myself. I was 109 points behind, but there were enough tiles in the bag for my opponent to bingo twice. I played Beath for 37, allowing my opponent to score a lot, but all of these plays here are beginning in the same spot. What I could have done was play Beiju for 26 points, 11 fewer points than Beath, but look at the rack leave, AEHT versus AU, a much better rack leave, and it's not opening up column 1. So Beiju across here, and there are only 6 tiles here, so I'm not opening up row A for a bingo. Beiju up here would have been best, or better than any of the plays down here. My opponent would still have had Echelon down here, but it wouldn't even have reached the double word square. Anyway, I did play Beath. My opponent played Echelon for 86. He could have played Colleen starting here. Wow, look at that, 95 points. And I was now only 60 points ahead and about to empty the bag. What did I do? I don't recognise any of those plays. Well, this is where I played Tiger to stop bingos across here or down here. So although Tiger scores a lot less than these, I still like it for strategic reasons. Now, what could my opponent have done here? Well, he played Octave for 26. 11, he could have played Coset across here, and I think Coset would have been better for him because I would not then have been able to go out. Anyway, he played Octave, and Aria was the only outplay. So, pretty exciting game, high scoring. My opponent was a long way behind, and Beath gave him the opportunity to come back and possibly win. I think Tiger killed the board dead, so even though before playing Tiger there was a possibility with the remaining tiles that my opponent could bingo and win, I think Tiger took out all of the bingo lanes on this board. But it was slightly closer at the end than it could have been if I had played Beiju. So pretty exciting game. I hope you enjoyed watching it and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.